So a Nazi came to my town today, openly, stood in the middle of the town with a giant sign that said Hitler was right. And I'm still regulating from kind of an intense day, so apologies if this is a little raw. But if you are, especially a man, talking about masculinities on this page, if you identify as a warrior or having physical competency or wanting to be a defender or a protector of your community in any way, think about what you will do in this situation now. Because it's going to happen. That's the direction it's going. Not if, when. I recommend Karl Popper as a starting point. He's a philosopher from the 1940s who coined the term the paradox of tolerance, in which he says that if we want to have a tolerant society, if we want to have a safe civil society, the one thing we cannot tolerate is intolerance, because intolerance is a cancer. It's a vicious little mold that grows and spreads and keeps cropping up. And if you allow intolerance in the public space, then it poisons your tolerant society and destroys it. So what this means is Nazi rhetoric, Nazi presentation must be actively excluded from the public discourse for all of our safety, but especially the safety of the most marginalized in our communities. And if you identify as a protector or a defender as a man, and you are not actively shutting down Nazi discourse in your community, then it's all just window dressing. You are frankly just making yourself feel better and boosting your own ego. So think about it now. When a Nazi shows up in your town, what are you going to do? What I did was make a giant sign that said, the only good Nazi is a dead Nazi. And immediately broke speeding laws getting into town and stood directly in front of his giant Nazi sign with my back to him. And he immediately became escalated, and I explained to him that he was not welcome in this town, that I'd grown up here, that this town was protected and safe, and he was not welcome, and that we wanted him dead, and that we wanted him gone. And I did not explain this calmly. I explained this in a very escalated, aggressive state. Intentionally. That was tactical. I wanted him to feel threatened and to feel excluded and shut out of the space. This is the polar opposite of the tactics that I undertake on this video all the time, so you have not seen this side of me. When I got there, a whole bunch of people were just standing around him, crying, processing. Some Jewish people were there, some people of color were there, and all of them held more marginalized identities than I do, and I believe in a diversity of tactics, so I'm grateful to them for showing their tears publicly. That's a service. And with my identities and my beliefs, I was not there to cry or talk to that man. I was there to get him out of my town. So I violently screamed at him and threatened him until he walked back to his car, started leaving. And I followed him with my sign saying, never come back here, until he got in his car and left. I'm going to show you this video, content warning. This is me being violent. This is my expression of violence, and I believe it is a healthy violence that is necessary for our world.
Fuck 3 miles from here! I don't give a shit what you have to say!
I knew that was going to bring it.
Stay the fuck out of my town! Never come back! I will be right the fuck here waiting for you!
All you guys who talk about protection and defense and home defense and personal defense, all these things, expand that. Expand that out to your community, because I believe that is the necessary medicine. Organize, get together with the rest of your community and prepare. How are you going to keep your community safe? Because after that, I was the only person who showed up with that energy, and I immediately got that Nazi out. And after that, this whole group of women and queer people and other marginalized folks were like actively embracing me and being like, thank you, where are the rest of you? Where are the rest of you? Where are the rest of you?